Welcome to the BAM Sports Show.
I carefully place all of it in various trash cans around.
Any other headlines you guys are interested in tomorrow?
I'll poop in a urinal.
It's going to be a wet one.
He shoots. He scores. You suck.
Rick's wife is going to make him sleep in the bathroom tub tonight.
A dark horse candidate of where I may eventually want to end up living for good.
Welcome to a brand new sports show experience coming through your wavelengths. Let's get ready to have some fun. So sit back, crack open a drink, and let's talk some sports.
And let's talk some fucking sports indeed. Welcome to the BAM Sports Show. It is the last show in February. My birthday, February 28th. Welcome to the BAM Sports Show. I am joined, as always, tonight with the boys. We got Ryan and that dude down in Jacksonville. What up, fellas?
Yes, sir.
Random Tuesday drop-in by Rick.
Random Tuesday drop-in. We love it. Am I sounding okay? I got the new mic working tonight. Do I sound better?
It sounds good. It sounds really good.
It brings up more of the background vomit in your voice.
Good. I love to hear that. It's
extra chunky tonight. I like it.
I will always tout anything from Blue. The Yeti microphone is great, and it's in my opinion is the best bang for your buck mic out there. Like, you're not going to drop an arm and a leg to pay for it, but it still sounds really crisp. So,
and this show is not sponsored by Yeti, but it could be.
It could be, or Blue. Rather.
We do. You got all of our socials over here. Hit us up.
You can sponsor us, Yeti.
Coolers too.
Coolers or cups. You know, I got one right here. It's where I keep all my agua.
Got to stay hydrated.
Shout out,
yes, sir.
Homies, Espanol.
So we got a good show tonight. We got some XFL Week 2 kind of look back. We're not going to jump into Week 3 stuff because we do have Friday show, and we'll save that stuff for Friday's show. And there's no Thursday night game this week, so we don't have to worry about that. Baseball spring training is kind of in full effect, and it is my birthday. So fuck it, let's have some fun. Where do you guys want to start, XFL or baseball?
Happy birthday. That's
Thanks,
where
buddy.
we'll start.
Let's start with that. Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. 33 years old, feeling damn good, except for about 5 minutes ago. YOLO, though.
That's good,
Sometimes you just got to puke on your birthday.
Hey,
What'd you do? What'd you do today for your birthday?
Let's see here. I worked all day, and then I played video games, and then I'm here with you guys. So
sounds
excellent.
Like my
excellent.
Thing.
Yeah, my wife is going to pick up the father-in-law here in about an hour and a half or so, and I won't be doing that. I'll be going to bed. That is my present.
Nice.
Let me see if I do this. Oh, no, we don't like that.
No, we don't like that.
We don't like
too
close.
Like that.
That's perfect for like if we're reacting to something like really big that just happened. Like,
gosh,
yeah.
So we start in XFL or baseball? Where do you want to start, boys?
Let's just get into the XFL.
I love to hear it. Here we go.
It's time for the BAM Sports Show Extreme XFL Recap.
XFL, let's ball out, baby!
Caca is still the law.
Down here we say Caca goes in the toilet.
The fans say, give us our beer snake pack and we'll stop throwing lemons.
Rick, love the fucking video, my guy. Absolutely love the video.
Caca goes in the toilet.
But does it? Because I do believe we got that dub.
Yeah, so that is actually from that little sound bite, and I actually messaged the guy to make sure that he was cool with me using it. But there is a San Antonio Brahma super fan. He has a really cool page, Viva Texas, on Facebook. Be sure to check it out. But he is a San Antonio Brahma super fan, I believe. I actually talked to him earlier. His name is Jorge. He goes by El Mariachi Brahma de San Antonio. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
Really good that I said agua earlier. We're a bilingual show.
Yeah.
What does that mean? The Brahmas of
Brahma,
San Antonio?
The Brahma Mariachi of San Antonio, I believe. I'll have to ask him. He did agree at a later date to come onto the show. So we'll see how that works out. But anyhow, no. So he, week one, that was our week one opponent was the San Antonio Brahmas. And, how we say Caca or Caw is the law.
Caw is the motherfucking law, baby. 2-0.
That's right. So he was kind of trash talking, saying Caca goes in the toilet. So appreciate Jorge for letting us use that soundbite.
2-0. Talked about
That's
that
right.
a little bit on Friday, just without you two.
Yeah, we know we're the brains of the operation when it comes to XFL.
That's you two, not me.
That's like
I
baseball
got
to
no
you.
brains.
So
No, I
yeah.
mean, same kind of thing I was talking with Keith about on Friday. That Battlehawks game, Thursday night.
Mhm.
It's compelling. That's really what I can say about the XFL.
Yeah.
Is like we've got compelling games outside of the Brahmas game this weekend.
Yeah, and I think that was more of a byproduct of.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Is it bad I instantly defaulted thinking it was mine?
He is like super frozen.
Yeah, he looks like he's like staring at the sun with his cock holster open.
Maybe that Florida Gator with the knife
got him?
stuck in his knife gator.
Can you really not hear me?
Oh, there you
there you kind of come
kind
back.
of hear you.
Oh man, seriously.
Beans.
Bean dip.
Yeah, that Brahmas game got out of hand.
Yeah, so let's run through it. Thursday night, St. Louis headed to Seattle and got a nice win there.
You back?
Is he back?
Are you back?
I hope so. Am I back?
Oh, looks like it. Yep.
Yeah.
So St. Louis beat the Sea Dragons 20-18 with some more last-minute miracles. Game-winning field goal as time expired on what was it? Saturday. The San Antonio game was. Is that right? Yeah. No. Yeah. San Antonio headed to Orlando. They dog walked the Guardians 30-20 or 12.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, we had the early game. DC Defenders came out victorious over the Vegas Vipers 18-6. And then what we all kind of thought would be the big game, good game of the week, 23-14 Houston Roughnecks over Renegades.
That was a fantastic game.
Yes, it was.
Before I kind of glitched out there, what I was going to say is I think that Brahmas and Guardians game, I think that was really more of a byproduct of Orlando just looking like the hands down worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Which
they're gunning for the number one pick.
Right. But which is a shame because there's a few players on that team. I forget the running back's name, Martin. That kid is a freaking bulldozer. He is awesome. And they have a respectable defense. Their defense made some plays in both games so far. But the quarterback play, both by Paxton, Lynch, and maybe to a lesser degree, DeAndre Francois, former Florida State quarterback. Paxton Lynch ain't it. I think that they need to roll with Francois the rest of the season and let Paxton Lynch ride the bench because at least DeAndre Francois is athletic and has a big arm. Maybe not the most athletic arm, but certainly a big arm.
Leaves much to be desired.
He's athletic enough too, where he's a little bit more of a worry for the opposing defense as well, to where he can maybe escape the pocket and do a little bit there.
Right, exactly.
So that helps open up the run game and all that.
Isn't Paxton Lynch like the only dude to be benched in the NFL, the XFL, the CFL, and like there's one more league there?
The USFL.
The USFL, that's right.
Man, good for him. He just keeps going for it. He's making a
Next
lot of
thing
money.
like I said, he's going to come down here to Jacksonville to be a Jacksonville Shark, and we're going to bench him too.
What if how Will Ferrell a few years ago played every position in one day for baseball? Like he played on all these different teams and played every single position for an inning. Paxton Lynch should do that, but with just all of the minor league teams. Like he should just do a hockey game and get benched, play some baseball and get benched.
Well, like I said, he still has to play for an arena team and get benched for them before.
That's true.
Kind of complete really the full circle.
Just keep going down the line,
Right. Yeah.
So before we get into what kind of let me down, what positive notes did you guys take? I was kind of shocked at the lack of fans in Seattle.
Yeah, but at the same time, so the Kraken were also playing that night. So tough for Seattle fans to be two places at once. The Kraken had a home game, and it's tough. Like there's other stuff going on sports wise in Seattle, but no, for sure that was a big surprise nonetheless. Because I was going to say last year, but 2020 they were one of the stronger fan bases for the XFL.
And by the way, the Kraken are currently third in the Pacific Division in hockey, so there's good reason why they got a lot of fans right now. Also, they got just fucking beautiful sweaters.
Oh, absolutely. I love the Kraken. I think that they have the best branding in all of sports.
Vegas Knights is pretty good as well. Like the new guys are good. But man, those Kraken. So anyway, sorry.
And one thing I will say, maybe still a little bit your thunder here, Blake, but with regards to the Vegas Vipers and DC Defenders game, obviously we're going to sit here and talk for a while about how absolutely awful that stadium looked. But the one kind of redeeming factor that I will say about it is, later in the game, it started storming there. And if you look at the XFL's page or either one of the two teams' pages, there was some pretty damn cool looking pictures that came out of that. It really looked kind of like an old school, like just rainy as hell, and because it was kind of a shitty field, just looked like a really badass, I hate to say, but like high school or college game. But there were some really cool pictures that came out of it.
Well, to be fair, I have seen better fields for a high school.
There's better fields in Las Vegas high schools.
In Springfield, Illinois, there's a better football stadium than what this professional league put players through.
Yeah.
Central Illinois.
I was kind of looking into it, and apparently they were negotiating for a while with Mark Davis to be able to use Allegiant Stadium. But that kind of fell out, and then the University of Las Vegas no longer uses Sam Boyd Stadium. That stadium is now permanently closed. It's all but demolished at this point, all but about to get demolished, I should say. So that was kind of out of the question there. So it kind of left the XFL scrambling for a home, and Cashman Field just kind of ended up, being it. Now, allegedly, there, and this is kind of sad, but I haven't looked at pictures of it, but there is a allegedly new-ish, pretty damn big high school stadium there in Las Vegas that they're maybe looking at for next year. But at that point, I'm like, damn, if you have to use a high school stadium, I mean, unless we're talking like, you know how there's like certain high schools that you would think it's actually a college stadium.
In Texas.
Right. Yeah. Like a Texas 5A school, like unless it's something like that, just move the damn team. Just move the damn team.
I think that's what disappoints me the most. Like you put the team in Vegas without a plan for a stadium. Like
there's so many other places that could have supported an XFL team,
and it would have supported more than 6,000 people at a home opener. Yeah,
and that's I know we kind of talked about this in the chat a little bit, but to kind of get this out on air, one thing that I will strongly advocate for, I've lived there in San Diego for a couple of years, and the same property where the Chargers' old stadium used to be, I watched them
San Diego.
Right. What did I say?
You said San Antonio.
Oh, sorry. Yes, San Diego. I lived there in San Diego for a couple of years. But the same property where the Chargers stadium used to be, I watched them completely demolish that. And I think like less than a year ago, they just got done building the new stadium where the SDSU, the college team, the Aztecs, where they play. It's called Snapdragon Stadium, and it's a smaller college football stadium, but perfect for an XFL team. And I sent you guys a video of it.
Yeah,
I think that would be just fine. And it's, damn near bicycling distance away from a whole bunch of military housing units. I live there. I literally drove past it every day going to work. So you'd have kind of a perfect melting pot between, the scorned old Chargers fans and then living, within spitting distance of a bunch of military folks. I feel like that would be a prime spot to put an XFL team if they could, work out an agreement, to rent that stadium out, so to speak.
100%.
I just can't believe that the XFL would put themselves in a position where even if that stadium sold out, it was only 10,000 people.
Right.
I mean, that's going to be 1/3 at best. Like St. Louis is going to have almost 4 times the amount of people in the dome. I mean, San Antonio had 3 times the amount of people.
With room for more.
And I mean, like DC and like the other markets, like they had like what, 10,000 people, 11,000 people. So they weren't like crazy, but it really shocked me that the XFL allowed this to be the product this weekend, I guess.
It was a rare pockmark on the XFL.
Yeah.
It seems like they've been hitting everything really well, except for the Vegas situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not foolish enough to think that that's going to be the permanent home of the Vegas Vipers. Obviously, I mean, they have Jerry Cardinale, the CEO of the Redbird Capital Group, a multi-billion-dollar investment firm. I'm sure that either A, they're going to call an audible, as it were, in the XFL offseason and, try to work a sweetheart deal with Mark Davis, or they move the team. I don't see them, as upsetting as it is, I'm not really sweating it too much. It definitely is a black eye on what has otherwise been, I think, an overall solid product. I mean, and the game was still not bad. It was definitely a competitive game, especially later in the game after it started raining. The game was actually pretty fun to watch, but that stadium was an eyesore.
You could have put any NFL team on that field and it would have been a bad game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the football was still as good as it could have been.
Right.
Field conditions and weather.
Right. You saw kickers like falling down and stuff like that. And just, and I remember a few years ago, I want to say it was the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, where players were like boycotting because the field conditions were so terrible.
Yeah, they had it was like a Metallica concert 2 nights before the football game or something.
Oh, wow.
If I remember correctly, it was like in the stadium.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Bears. The Bears had fucking Rammstein play a week before the home opener.
Yeah.
Can't wait to move to Arlington. Can't wait.
I'm excited for that for sure. So, I mean, outside of that, like what are some storylines? What do you guys like about this weekend?
I feel like Ryan really hit it pretty dead center on the last show there on Friday. It's fun football to watch. Again, I would echo what Ryan said and remind people like this, of course, is not the NFL, but nor is it trying to be. I think the really cool thing about it is you're giving players who either just for whatever reason, didn't quite get a shot, in the NFL, or maybe didn't get as much of a shot,
or got plenty of shots and shot themselves in the foot.
Right. Josh Gordon.
Martavis Bryant.
Right.
Caitlin Balash.
But you're getting these are still talented players. And some big name head coaches like Wade Phillips, Bob Stoops, these guys. But
Anthony
you're getting
Betch.
Anthony Betch, Ricky Prohl. But these guys are getting opportunities, and I think that that's the really cool part. And you're seeing them kind of use some innovation and creativity to expand on the game. So it's kind of twofold. You're giving players and coaches opportunities, and you're expanding the game. You're kind of injecting some fresh blood into the whole game, which I really like. So if you go into it thinking that you're going to watch an NFL game, of course you're going to be disappointed. But
Right.
if you have the mindset of, like Ryan said on Friday, think of, like you're going to a AAA game, or something like that, or an ECHL game, for hockey. If you go into it with that mindset and accept that for what it is, and then as an added benefit, you get all of the really cool different rules that the XFL has that you don't see in the NFL, and then the transparency with the officiating.
Yes,
and
that is fantastic.
All of that stuff without doing too much. There is definitely I think a threshold where, there's a fine line between adding some creativity, and expanding on the game, and just doing way too much.
And I don't think they're doing that.
No, not at all. I think that
they've
done a
hit that
fantastic job.
Really good point there, of like, it's different enough. Like I don't know if it's because like diehard Bears fan, every game I feel like, I'm a true fan. Every game is live or die, if I'm going to be in a bad mood the rest of that weekend or not.
True that.
Right.
And and I also play fantasy, football as well. And so I'm hanging on these scores, and I don't know if it's because I'm not doing that. And, I want the Battlehawks to win because they're the closest team and they're fun. They're a lot of fun to watch. Love AJ McCarron's story right now.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if it's because of that or if it's because of the football, but it's fun to watch. It's entertaining to watch.
Agreed.
And so I don't know if it's the football, the rules, the XFL, the presentation package, or just the fact that it's like, it just feels like kick up your feet, watch a baseball game in the summer, kind of, relaxing and fun. And it also makes me really excited. It makes me really excited to see if the NFL starts adopting some of these rules, because I love these rule changes, especially late in the game. They're awesome.
Oh yeah, that late game, like where they switch kind of to college rules, is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I had noticed a lot of people on Battlehawks fan pages, a lot of diehard St. Louis sports fans, kind of liken the Battlehawks of this year to is the what was known as the cardiac cards back in the day, and I've kind of done some research on it. So I believe it was the 1975 St. Louis Football Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was. Yeah, I believe it was either 8 or 9 right before they moved to Arizona.
After they moved there from Chicago.
Correct. So in 1975, the cardiac cards, I believe it was either 8 or 9. I can't remember off the top of my head, but either 8 or 9 of their games that season were decided by one score during the last minute of the game. So you see a lot of people calling the Battlehawks like the cardiac hawks, like, kind of like a
Cardi Hawks.
Homage. Yeah, Cardi Hawks. So, which, I mean, these 2 weeks, it's absolutely true. Now, I did like that the Battlehawks offense was humming a little bit more earlier in the game as opposed to, that first week against the Brahmas. But, again, credit to San Antonio's defense. And, the XFL, these guys only had, I think it was like either 3 or 4 weeks of training camp.
Yeah,
5 weeks.
The Vegas team didn't even have a field until after the new year.
Right. So, kind of twofold as far as that goes. But no, I thought that was kind of a neat little comparison.
Well, and I think we'll start to see, like, the games have all been close and competitive, right? Except for the Brahmas or Guardians this weekend. Like, that was kind of a shootout blowout. But I think the games have been competitive enough that whereas we start to see these offenses start to understand the systems, start to understand the different breaks, the ins and outs, the bells and whistles, if you will, well, these games are going to become more offensively compelling. Whereas now it's a lot of 3 and outs, and you get a couple of chunk plays. And now you're going to hopefully score a touchdown.
It's going to be interesting to see the football difference from week 1 to like week 3, week 4, when everybody's got their legs under them. You've got football miles built up, to see what this true product is. Right now, it's
right. It's still a lot of fun. And we didn't even touch on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we didn't even touch on the Houston Roughnecks and Arlington Renegades game. To me, hands down, the single best game of the season so far.
I think it's probably the best game of the recent XFL.
Yeah, I think that's what he means when he says of the season.
No, I meant of the prior.
Even of 2020?
Yeah.
That's tough. I don't know. That's because I remember that
there wasn't very many of them, but
the Battlehawks Dragons game last year, before they were the Sea Dragons, that was a hell of a game. But I mean, if nothing else, like I said, at a bare minimum, this was by far, of the 8 games they've played so far.
Yeah.
This was by far and away the best game. The Roughnecks start out, I mean, just looking as dominant as they did last week, up 11-0, and then next thing you know, the Roughnecks come out firing on all cylinders, 11-0. Then the Renegades just absolutely turn the burners on, and next thing you know, it's 14-11, 14 unanswered points.
Yeah,
and from there, it just seemed like they were trading punches up until about midway through the third quarter or so, and the Roughnecks just, their defense just dominated. I think that they just really they were able to pressure Arlington's quarterback, to where he really couldn't do much. Their defense, I think that San Antonio and Houston have at least the two of the top 3 defenses. I think the Battlehawks have to be up there as well. But it was a great game. It was a lot, and it was a true Texas showdown. I'm very interested to see, because San Antonio is only like a 2.5, 3-hour drive, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
From
Texas is huge.
Well, right. But so San Antonio to Houston is only like a 2.5, 3-hour drive. And as absolutely diehard as we saw the Brahmas fans are, I would not be surprised. I know that this is the 3rd consecutive home game for the Houston Roughnecks, but I would not be surprised to see a respectable amount of Brahmas fans there in Houston for this game. I think that that's going to be, I feel like we got the appetizer Texas showdown this past weekend between the Roughnecks and Renegades.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real Texas showdown that I think is going to be kind of the game of the week, if you will be the Roughnecks and Brahmas this weekend.
Well, and I don't know if you said this, I think San Antonio and Houston are only like an hour and a half away from each other.
It's like 2.5, 3 hours.
Oh, is it that far, really?
Yeah, but I mean, even so, that's very doable.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm looking at the standings right now. Obviously, it's 2 weeks in, whatever. But I always like looking at the run differential or point differentials. And Houston Roughnecks are plus 30. So they've scored 30 more than they've, let up. The Brahmas are plus 15. So I'm hoping we get to see that first real offensive slugfest out of the NFL or XFL.
Houston looks good, but they look beatable.
Well, I mean, every team looks beatable.
Except for the Battlehawks, motherfucker.
The Cardiac Hawks, baby.
Cardiacs.
Here's my thing, right? Like NFL games, like you get to a certain point, you're like, all right, I'm going to turn this off and go to bed. Right? Like someone goes up by 9, you're like, all right, I'm going to go to bed. Whereas like this last Sunday night with Houston and Arlington, it was like a 9-point game. I'm like, fuck, can't turn this off because
it's
one play.
The potential 3-point conversion, and then like we saw last week at the Battlehawks, they got the 3-point conversion after the touchdown, and then got the 4th and 15.
Yeah,
like immediately thereafter.
Just wild. So, I'm excited for this coming week. We got battles of unbeatens with St. Louis and DC, and then Houston. I agree. Houston and San Antonio is going to be a great game.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up before we got off of the XFL is, there's a little bit of hubbub about, AJ McCarron making like 97% less with the XFL versus the NFL, but he's got a chance to start. People are out there seeing him. He's doing something. He's leading comebacks. I'm looking. So the XFL players on average are paid around $60,000 for the season,
Yeah.
which is like in the real world, very, very good.
Yeah.
That's a good salary. For sports, I would have thought it would be more. And I was going to pose the question to you guys of, would you rather be a starter in the XFL or a practice squad player in the NFL? One of the things that I was going to take into consideration is the pay. So practice squad players make $11,500 per week or $207,000 for 18 weeks. With veterans with over 2 years of experience, making between $277,000 and $358,200. And this is just practice squad, full-time practice squad for the year. So I think most people would probably say practice squad because of the monetary and the fact that you are one injury away from your team just calling you up. You don't have to be signed, you're there.
I think it depends on where you've been. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, Rick, but I think it depends on where you've been. Like AJ's been in the league as a practice squad. He's made that money. Like he's not hurting for cash.
So then I guess the question comes from, if you are an undrafted free agent, all right, in April, nobody drafted you, there's always a rush at the end of the beginning of that for the top undrafted free agent players. Would you rather sign with an NFL team? Because it's a pretty low bonus that you get.
Right.
Or do you think about joining up with the XFL? It's a ways away, but I'm sure they have coming up like some sort of summer conditioning program, or, I'm expecting the teams now to kind of run it year round. Not obviously play year round, but practice and all that.
So, I mean, it's tough because I feel like there's still something to be said about the XFL in that regard. Look at guys like Taylor Heineke, or for the USFL, Cavante Turpin, the kick returner for the Dallas Cowboys.
Taylor Heineke still has a job in the NFL. Carson Wentz, however,
does not.
Maybe he should be giving Orlando a call. We already have a graphic made up.
But, kind of the point that I was getting at is some of these guys didn't, or the cornerback that we had in St. Louis, Kenny Robinson, I think his name was, ended up signing with the Panthers, after killing it in the XFL. A lot of players like that wouldn't have otherwise gotten an opportunity. NFL scouts are able to look at these guys. So it's kind of like for some of these players, it may be kind of a chess move. Like, I may sacrifice a big chunk of salary right now, but if I can get some solid tape out there on national television, that may open me up to even more than what I would have gotten paid sitting on the practice squad, not doing a damn thing for 18 weeks and only to end up getting cut at the end of the season, or hoping and praying, that I get a roster spot, or at the very least be able to stay on the practice squad. Maybe it's kind of more of a chess move where, like I said, you get an opportunity, put some tape out there, and hopefully vie for an even higher paying job in the NFL later on. So I think it just kind of depends on what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah, it's I'm interested to see in the coming years, if people want to be on the, because the other option would be your practice squad all year, and then you go and play in the XFL and the spring league. And so
I'm clicking on shit. My fault.
No, you're fine. So, something to look forward to in the coming years, because I do think that the XFL has a product that can and should last if they keep building on it and we get better and better football.
Yeah, it's sustainable for sure.
Plus, it's the combine started today, and so I'm like prospect mind.
Yeah. No, I think the XFL is more of a sustainable product this time around, just because of the backing. Like, you've got actual true business people running it now, not just, again, obviously Vince McMahon is a businessman, right? Like, look what he did for the WWE, but now you've got football minds behind this,
Right.
But we'll get more into that on Friday. We'll cover more of the weekend games this coming Friday night for this upcoming weekend. But we've got baseball, boys. Baseball has started. We've got spring training games going on. How do we feel?
Yes,
are we excited for baseball, or was
I'm
this
very
too
excited
early?
for
I know
baseball.
Ryan. I know you are. You're a big baseball geek.
Yeah, no, for sure. I am too. I haven't had much of a chance to get into spring training just yet, just because, I've been kind of busy lately.
Yeah.
But no, all the same, I'm excited. I mean, outside of the XFL, my Blues haven't been worth a damn, so hopefully the Cardinals can do something this year.
Yeah.
Probably not. But
Blackhawks traded away Patrick Kane today, so I definitely understand
happy
that.
birthday.
Yeah.
Greatest American-born hockey player of all time.
Ever to be traded. Yeah. It's cool though. I mean, we knew it was coming, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like it was a surprise. I am kind of shocked about what they got, but I'm wondering if New York has taken a lot of that salary.
They are. There was this is about as best as we could have hoped for because of the contract situation with Kane.
Yeah.
The Rangers had to move a few things around because they also traded for Tarasenko. And
they are making fucking power moves.
Yeah, so I think that they're definitely the team to watch right now. But
Blackhawks will be exciting here in a couple
hockey.
years. That's Hockey Talk on the BAM Sports Show. Don't forget, though, we do have 2 first-round picks for the next 3 years.
That's true. And now an extra second.
So things are looking good for old Blackhawks fans.
So baseball. There's been a couple of, what do they call them? Pitch clock violations, basically.
Yeah.
That one that determined a game. Again, it's a spring training game. They don't go into extras. If it was regular season, it would have just gone into extras. But I think the bases were loaded. And he got called out on a violation into the game. Not a good look for the rule. Outside of that, like the bigger bases, Machado was the first to be called for the pitch clock, but it wasn't him. I think it was, it was a AA player, I think.
I like how the Padres were like, all right, this dude does not understand the new rule. Let's extend him for 11 years.
Is that the new? Yeah, I was going to say, was that I know the whole pitch clock thing, is new, but was there something else, like a new rule that I maybe have missed out on?
There's
a lot.
couple.
Yeah, so the bases are bigger. It's more of a player safety thing. They analyzed the strides of like a bunch of different runners.
Yeah.
And the size of the bag is supposed to be safer for when they're rounding because it's more natural, averaged out for their foot to plant there.
Gotcha.
In theory, you should see less rolled ankles, less injuries at first or third.
Sure.
Unless you're Gavin Lux. But the other thing is they limited the shift. So they basically, there's no longer a shift, but we have seen already in the spring, like some really fantastic second base plays. Mm-hmm. I love second base. Played it a lot. And to see the return of like actual, plays at second and not the shortstop coming over and the third baseman at second and the second, seeing rangy second baseman or seeing second baseman have to use range, fantastic.
That's awesome.
Even more so when your second baseman's Nico.
Well, yeah, exactly. We've got a potential, Gold Glove infield.
Wild.
It's wild. They definitely doubled down on gloves. But the biggest injury story is Gavin Lux for the Dodgers. Young dude, basically, you know, once Trey Turner signed with the Phillies, Lux was the everyday shortstop. That's what, you know, he's getting brought up to be.
Mm-hmm.
Carted off the field yesterday, torn ACL and LCL. So he is likely to miss the entire season.
You hate to hear that.
Yeah, it was bad too. It was one of those where he planted. I think what he was trying to do is get out of the way of a throw to second from the third baseman. And he just planted wrong, and just his whole knee bent backwards.
Ooh.
And he just fell. It was as somebody who has done that, but not to like the tear. You know, well, I guess not to the tear. My knee still hurts sometimes, but I've done that before. It sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine. Good.
Well, you hate anyone getting hurt in spring training or before the season. You hate it to see in general, but
especially a young dude that has like a really high level pedigree. You know, I know he's a Dodger, but I'm always excited for young guys to come up because I want to see.
For sure.
I want to see the sport grow.
Yeah,
I'm tired of seeing it drift away.
Right.
Do you think the faster games are going to grow the sport, or do you think it's going to?
No,
you don't think so.
No, what it will make for a more engaging game. So I think they'll have people watching longer. But the product is still like, to me, I don't like going to professional football games because I miss a lot of the action.
Sure.
It's over here. It's over here. I'm either over here, you know. With baseball, every seat you're able to catch everything going on. And I would much rather watch baseball live than at home. And I think the shorter games will help that. The speed of play will help keep people in their seats in the stadium, keep people watching at home. But as far as growing it, no. They need to like let up on broadcast rights and stop suing people and no more fucking blackouts.
I thought they were close to a deal that would restrict some of those blackouts.
They were close to, but it's Major League Baseball. And then you also have the Player Association head, Tony Clark, saying we'll never agree to a cap. And that hurts small market teams as well.
Yep. Sure does.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a damn shame too, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, old Steve Cohen and the Mets. Leave it to the Mets to ruin something good.
Go figure.
Seiya Suzuki for the Cubs. He has a moderate left oblique strain. Not good. He's going to miss the entire World Baseball Classic for Japan. Hopefully he'll still be there so he can tug at the sleeves of Ohtani. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be
those are the big like injury news right now.
How long are they saying for Suzuki?
Unknown.
That's always scary.
Yep. Yeah.
That dude showed up jacked at spring training too, like
yes,
ready to go. Again, you hate to see it before the season starts. You hate to see it during the season, but you hate to see it before the season even begins.
Mm-hmm. I'd rather see it before the season.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
Bryce Harper is starting to take dry swings, which he's not hitting a ball yet, but he's coming back from Tommy John.
Is that when he swings the bat without dipping it in the water?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's like an Italian beef. You know, you can get it dipped, or you can get the juice on the side, or just dry. And he's a maniac, apparently. He just does it dry. If you eat Italian beef dry, you should be locked up.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Bless you. You should be locked up in prison if you eat Italian beef dry.
Yeah. You're a psychopath, clearly.
Use that juice, baby.
Rick, how do you like your roast beef?
Baseball.
Say what?
How do you like your roast beef?
Roast beef au juice, baby.
Yeah.
Extra wet.
Yes, sir.
Wet. Man, it's hard to believe that NFL season has come and gone and passed, and we are, boys, we are 1 month away from our 1 year anniversary on this show. Isn't that crazy to think about?
That's crazy.
Wild. So what is what's the date of that?
I think April 5th was our first because I think I went live on like March 30 something, late March, talking about how we were going to change the show up a little bit on just a podcast. And then we started on April 5th, I believe was our first podcast. And then we switched it to a show shortly after that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, it's been a lot of fun. Honestly, it really has. It has helped me kind of broaden my horizons, just with sports fandom. Obviously, I've talked time and time again about wanting to get into sports broadcasting. So this has been kind of cool practice, just kind of be able to expand my knowledge base. It's kind of forced that on me, and just it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed chopping it up with you guys.
That'll be a fun episode when it is our 1-year anniversary. We'll make sure we have a big show planned that night. That'll be a lot of fun.
Let's get the big show on it.
We've had some cool guests over the years. I mean, over the year. Like, I mean, from wrestling to BattleBots to UFC to
a comedian
before he
went on stage.
Semi-amateur fight promoters. Digital racing, mini go-kart racing. Like, we've had some cool ass shit on this show.
Dude from the Jaguars.
Yeah, like,
it's been cool.
It has been a fun ride, and I hope y'all are buckled in and ready to go, because we are truly just getting started. Now that I got a microphone that makes me not sound like complete dog shit, let's do this.
Yeah, you've seen a camera that does something about,
Yeah, well, I mean, I can do this. I can do that, but that's about as best I can do.
It's tremendous.
Perfect.
So it's a Tuesday, so we're going to keep this one short and sweet. We appreciate everyone for popping in tonight and kind of checking us out. Big thanks to the XFL and for baseball for letting us shit on your sports or encourage your sports, or whatever the way you want to look at it.
Watch baseball, watch the XFL.
Yeah. Big show on Friday night
Battlehawks.
we look towards week 3 of the XFL. And I believe, is this Sunday Selection Sunday, or is it next Sunday? Next Sunday.
For what?
For college basketball.
Next Sunday.
So I think we'll do a league listener league there as well.
March 12th.
So we got XFL week 3 this week, and then XFL week 4, and then Selection Sunday. Shortly after that, baseball's officially back, opening day, right? Towards the end of March, first week of April. The next thing you know, the Battlehawks will be in the XFL championship game down in San Antonio, and then it'll be draft season, baby.
Yes, sir. Quick question for you guys.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, so the St. Louis Battlehawks fans have already forced the XFL's hands at opening the next section up in the dome, the 300 level.
Yeah. And it's sold out, by the way.
The Rams, they had to close that off for the Rams.
Not necessarily true. They still had, I want to say,
I thought they
even
did.
when they were dog
Maybe
shit.
I was thinking of something else.
They were, I want to say, at a minimum, 80% capacity most of the time there.
St. Louis likes football.
They really do. But question for you guys, though. So I think at that time, it was still only week 1. When, after week 1, their hand was forced to open the next level of the dome there. How long do you guys think it is until the XFL's hand is forced to open the entirety of the dome, to truly pack that place to the gills?
Week 5. I don't think we'll see it before week 5. I think they're going to see if those week 4 season ticket holders all show up, or if they're just buying it because the tickets are sold out, right? Are they buying them to resell them at astronomical prices and no one's going to buy them? So then those 300 seats are semi-empty. But if there's butts in those seats, and why would the XFL not elect to open it? It makes no sense. Even if you open just the home sideline or the visitor sideline or the end zones, you don't have to open the whole thing at once. You can control it, make the 2 end zones open, or one of the sidelines. But I don't think we see that before week 5. I really don't. I think they're going to wait and see what happens with those 300 seats. Like I said, if those butts are in seats and the dome is rocking more than we know it's going to, they would be. Why would they not?
Right.
Yeah, I could easily see it happening. I mean, mind you, I was only there for the one game, the home opener back in 2020. but there was an elbow room in that damn place.
Right.
And they
Assholes
anybody
to
that couldn't get
elbows.
anybody that couldn't get tickets to that game, they all packed Ballpark Village. You know, it's kind of like a watch party type thing. So even if there are a handful of people that are just buying the tickets, you know, to do the resale thing on Ticketmaster or wherever, I still think that there's going to be asses in seats in that dome, and it's going to be absolutely miserable for the Arlington Renegades.
I would not want to be the victim of
You
week
are
4.
you are in the St. Louis area, so like, what's the feeling around there? Is there advertising?
So
I'm just far enough away that I wouldn't see it.
yeah, I mean, you got to think though. I'm an hour and 10 minutes outside of the city where I'm at right now with the rental.
Yeah.
So, but I did notice that, and I don't know if it was just some games this weekend, but there were starting to be some XFL commercials on ESPN.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Yeah,
but
I think I saw
multiple
one.
XFL, like not runnings of the same commercial, like multiple commercials,
Right.
that
Multiple,
they had run. Yeah.
And they had AJ McCarron on First Take.
Did they? I missed that.
I didn't see that. That's awesome. I'll have to look for that clip.
But I can tell you the vibe from what I'm seeing, like on obviously just on like social media, right? Like people are excited about this team. Like they're excited about having pro football here. Even people that were kind of like, I don't want to say half in, half out back in 2020, but they were like hesitant on the XFL. Those folks are bought in 100%. You know, because back in 2020, people were like with me, they're like, really? You're going to watch this? Like, you're excited for this? And I was like, hell yeah, you know, and like, obviously the city grew with it. Right. But like all the people that were like, oh, are you really going to do this? Or, you know, you're kind of, like I said, half in, half out. I think they're fully in now.
Yeah.
So, all right, boys.
Looking to see if they had numbers yet for the St. Louis. But man,
it's exciting times. It's exciting times. We'll be back on Friday. Make sure you guys be a friend, tell a friend, subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff. Anything else before we get out of here tonight?
Watch baseball, watch the XFL.
And happy birthday, Blake.
And happy birthday, Blake.
Thank you, guys. Well, as always, be a friend, tell a friend. Goodbye.
Peace.